right now. And that's really, really hard to stomach when you consider that Jerry Jones blessed us with his presence yesterday, stayed about an hour and a half on this very show. My man Michael Irvin, the playmaker, showed up as well. He was there, the one and only DeMarcus Ware, Hall of Famer. He was there as well. We had a grand old time talking about football and talking about the Cowboys. And Jerry Jones had a lot to say, an awful lot to say yesterday about a lot of things that I really didn't have time to get into because I'm hosting a show. I'm interviewing folks, and I'm just making sure that I get to what I need to get to. But definitely Jerry Jones said some things that took me aback. No doubt about that, and I'm going to talk about that as the show progresses today. One of the things was how we going to trade, and trade is going to make a difference. Come to find out, the trade was for Logan Wilson of the Cincinnati Bengals, linebacker Logan Wilson. That's who the Cowboys receive, and the Bengals receive a 2026 7th-round pick. That ain't going to cut the mustard. That ain't going to get it done. That's not going to make up for the loss of Micah Parsons. That's not going to propel the Dallas Cowboys defense to new heights. This team is not good. It's not good. And I thought that the offense, as prolific as it was, would ultimately make some noise last night and drop 40. And come to find out, their offense didn't show up at all. I mean, they scored 10 points last night. Remember, the Dallas Cowboys had a blocked punt, and ultimately that was returned for that was sat on in the end zone, and it was a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. But they've got 4 straight losses to the Cardinals dating back to 2020. They lost 8 of their last 9 to the Arizona Cardinals. And this same Dallas Cowboy team that was averaging over 41 points per game at home this season fell to 0-5 this season when scoring fewer than 37 points. So if you don't score 37 points or more, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you can't win a game. That's essentially what that statistic says. And there's no way around that. And so Marvin Harrison Jr., after his father called out their team and how, moribund their offense was, he goes out, 7 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown, caught 5 of his 6 targets for 61 yards and a touchdown. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can't believe how bad it is. I can't believe how bad it is. The Dallas Cowboys right now, they're 11th seed in the NFC. The Eagles are ahead of them. Every single team in the NFC North is ahead of them, okay, including the Chicago Bears, who also have beaten the Dallas Cowboys this year, okay? You've got Tampa in the NFC South. They're ahead of them. You got 3 teams in the NFC West. They're ahead of them. And actually 4 now because the Cardinals at 3-5 have already beaten the Cowboys, who are at 3-5-1. So basically all 4 teams in the NFC North and the NFC West are ahead of the Cowboys, plus the Eagles, plus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's why you got Dallas at 11th. This, it's over. It's over. You're not going to the playoffs. It's just that simple. And so now, it calls for reflection in terms of where do you go from here? What can you do if you're the Dallas Cowboys? Complete overhaul of the defense, essentially. You might need a few parts. Maybe that's a bit exaggerative. I get it. But the point is, you can't score on anybody. And then you're looking at the offense, and you're saying, where were you guys at? Where were you guys? Dak Prescott, 250 yards passing, sacked the season high 5 times, 77.9 passer rating. Dallas obviously turned the ball over 2-3 times. Ferguson and Javonte Williams each lost fumbles. Dak Prescott threw an interception on a desperation heave, 4th and 28. I mean, it's no big deal. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens combined for 13 catches on 21 targets for 164 yards, but no scores. And then Dak Prescott's last 2 games, 61% completions, 219 passing yards, a touchdown, 3 interceptions, and a 66.2 passer rating. Those ain't MVP numbers. So we sit here and we look at it today and we say to ourselves, another season going to wash. And Jerry Jones, listen, I'm very fond of the man, the businessman. He's brilliant. He's worth $20 billion. The franchise is worth over $13 billion. But we all know, as the executive of the team, the president, the GM, the owner, he's left a lot to be desired. And listening to him yesterday talk, I was shocked. I was shocked when he said about, Micah Parsons. because we weren't even really pressing him about it. But he's looking at DeMarcus Ware, and he's looking at Michael Irvin, and he's talking about that summer heat in Texas. And he says, I've never seen anybody lay on the damn bench in public. You just saw a little something different, a little something coming out of his mind, a little something coming out of his head. He wasn't having it. It is what it is. And that's what you're seeing from Dallas. I'm just looking at them right now. This is just bad. Total defense, 31st. Scoring defense, 31st. Pass defense, 30th. Rush defense, 29th. Third down defense, dead last. Red zone defense, 28th. Why don't you just say, listen, we're horrible and we're worse than everybody but the Cincinnati Bengals. And just get it over with. Don't even waste your time thinking about anything or anybody else, because it really, really doesn't matter. That's what we're looking at here when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys Nation, the story of the Dallas Cowboys 2025 season has been one of frustration, flashes of brilliance, and a desperate search for answers on defense. The front office made moves at the trade deadline. They brought in linebacker Logan Wilson, a former Bengals captain, and defensive tackle Quinnen Williams from the Jets to strengthen the heart of the defense. Those moves were big. They were bold. But there's still one area that's been glaringly weak for far too long: safety. And now fate may have just handed the Cowboys the answer they've been searching for. Late Friday, news broke that the Tennessee Titans had officially released veteran safety Quandre Diggs, a three-time Pro Bowler and one of the most respected defensive leaders in the league. At 32 years old, Diggs is no longer the young, up-and-coming star he once was, but make no mistake about it, this man still has plenty of football left in him. For a Cowboys defense that's struggled to find stability and leadership on the back end since Michael Parsons was traded and Trevon Diggs went down, Quandre might just be the veteran presence that changes everything. Let's rewind for a moment and put this in perspective. Quandre Diggs isn't just another name floating on the waiver wire. He's a proven player, drafted in the 6th round by the Detroit Lions back in 2015 out of the University of Texas. Yes, Texas, the Lone Star State. This would be a homecoming for him. Over 11 NFL seasons, he's played in 154 games, made 124 starts, racked up 652 tackles, defended 57 passes, and pulled down 24 interceptions. He's been selected to the Pro Bowl 3 straight times from 2020 to 2022 with the Seattle Seahawks. That's consistency, that's production, and that's leadership, something the Cowboys secondary desperately needs right now. So why does this matter for Dallas? Because despite the trades and despite the talent, this Cowboys defense has lacked direction. We've seen it every Sunday: miscommunication between the corners and safeties, blown coverages over the top, and missed tackles in the open field that turn short gains into drive-killing disasters. The numbers tell the story. Dallas ranks near the bottom of the NFL in completion percentage allowed, giving up nearly 68% to opposing quarterbacks. They're surrendering over 8 yards per attempt through the air, and while injuries have played a role with Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson both missing time, there's been no vocal leader back there to take control, align the defense, and command the secondary. Quandre Diggs is built for that role. He's been a defensive captain, he's played under multiple systems, from Matt Patricia's scheme in Detroit to Pete Carroll's in Seattle, and he's thrived in all of them. He understands how to diagnose plays, communicate adjustments, and mentor younger players. And that's exactly what Dallas needs right now. Someone who can stabilize the chaos, demand accountability, and bring professionalism back to the defensive huddle. According to PFF, Diggs posted a 64.4 coverage grade and a 64.7 run defense grade this season before his release. Those aren't elite numbers, but they're steady, and that's the key. The Cowboys don't need a superstar at safety, they need reliability. They need someone who will be in the right place at the right time, who won't get beat deep, and who can help the corners by making smart pre-snap reads. That's Diggs, in a nutshell. He's not the flashiest player, but he's a coach's dream. Disciplined, vocal, and fearless. And for Jerry Jones, this opportunity couldn't come at a better time. After that frustrating 27-17 home loss to the Arizona Cardinals, the Cowboys dropped to 3-5-1. Their playoff hopes aren't dead, but the margin for error is now razor thin. The team is in what Jerry himself has called a win-now mode. He's already made big trades to address the front seven. The offense has shown life, with Dak Prescott finding rhythm alongside CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. But without a solid back-end presence, the Cowboys can't close out games, and we've seen it cost them repeatedly. So the question now is simple. Will Jerry make the call? Because Quandre Diggs isn't just a name that looks good on paper. He's the type of veteran who can change the tone of a locker room. Players respect him. coaches trust him, and fans know his energy. He's from Texas. He knows what it means to wear the star. Imagine him walking into the Star in Frisco, putting on that navy and silver, and immediately becoming the voice this defense has been missing since Micah's departure. It's poetic, it's symbolic, and it just makes sense. Let's look at this from a roster-building standpoint. Dallas currently has Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and Israel Mukuamu in the safety room. But injuries and inconsistency have forced coordinator Matt Eberflus to experiment with corner safety hybrids like Reddy Stewart. Adding Quandre Diggs would allow those younger players to return to their natural positions, bring structure to the defensive calls, and finally give the Cowboys flexibility in their coverage schemes again. Think about how valuable that could be in the coming stretch of games, facing explosive offenses like Philadelphia, Green Bay, and San Francisco, all of which can exploit broken coverage in an instant. A player like Quandre Diggs doesn't just fill a gap, he stabilizes an entire unit. And from a financial perspective, this is the definition of low risk, high reward. Diggs would likely command a veteran minimum or incentive-based deal to finish the season. No long-term commitment, no cap hit that breaks the bank, just a short-term signing that could give Dallas a fighting chance to get back on track. So if you're Jerry Jones, if you're Will McClay, if you're serious about making a playoff push, there's no reason not to pick up the phone. This team has shown flashes of greatness. The talent is there. Quinnen Williams clogging the middle, Logan Wilson commanding the linebackers, Trevon Diggs expected to make his return next season. But every great defense needs a voice, a veteran, a general who can see the field like a quarterback and organize chaos before the snap. Quandre Diggs is exactly that type of player. And let's be honest, Cowboys Nation deserves hope. This fan base has been patient. They've seen the ups and downs, the near misses, the heartbreaks. They've watched this team fight, fall, and get back up again. But sometimes, all it takes is one move, one addition, one spark to reignite the fire. Maybe, just maybe, Quandre Diggs is that spark. Dallas doesn't have to rebuild, they just have to refocus. And bringing in a veteran safety who knows how to win, who knows how to lead, and who's hungry to prove he's still got it, could be exactly the move that changes the tone of the season. So Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Should Jerry Jones make the call and bring Quandre Diggs home to Texas? Is this the veteran piece that could finally fix the Cowboys secondary and give this defense the identity it's been missing? Drop your thoughts down below because this one could be big. If you believe this move makes sense, if you believe Dallas still has a run left in them, hit that like button, subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report, and let's keep this conversation alive. The season isn't over, the star still shines, and with the right moves, it could shine brighter than ever.